Hi, thanks for joining me. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most complex additions to our couple relationship scenario, and that is children. Children have this very unique power to create the absolute greatest joys and the deepest pain and struggles in our relationships. Because it's through our children that we start to see what are some of our core values, what are some of the parts of ourselves that are going to show up based on our family of origin, and that might be in direct competition or in direct opposition to what our partner is bringing to the parenting program. So it's through child rearing that we get to see lots of different scenarios of parenting strategies. So if you've ever, had a conflict in your relationship about, having the baby sleep in the bed with the parents, right? One parent is like, no, baby needs to sleep in a crib. And another parent is like, I want that baby close to me. I want to be close to this baby, right? I want to be co-sleeping. The baby might be 4 days old and you already have a conflict over the expectation and the reality and how you merge those together. So I have an entire book called The 5 Seasons of Connection to Your Child. Please go and get that if you have children in your relationship, because it does add significant stressors and opportunities for winter behavior. Not gonna lie, children definitely bring out things that we didn't even know existed inside of us. And we start hearing ourselves sounding like our parents, or we start purposefully not trying to be like them. And so there's a lot that goes on in children and our child rearing, kind of responses. The one thing I want to talk about in this video is to think about the family garden. So remember, in our relationship, you have the one partner here, and then together you create a third garden. When you have a child, it actually doesn't mean 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. In actual fact, adding a child to a couple makes 7. And so here on this slide, I'll explain that. In the first scenario, we have partner number 1 who has an individual garden. Partner number 2 has their own individual garden. And the child has their own garden. Just like when you were a child, you had your own garden. And if you doubt this at all, think about feeding your child a vegetable they didn't want. Did your child eat absolutely every food you put in their mouth? No. Did your child go to the potty exactly when you put them on the potty and no other time and no other place? No. Did your child put on sweaters that they didn't want, socks that they didn't want, pajamas that they didn't want? If they did, it was not an easy battle. You physically had to restrain that child to put on the snowsuit or the mittens or the socks or whatever. Children have their own garden because they have their own personality and they know that they have autonomy over things. So even children as small as 7 and 8 months, when they start eating solid like little pureed vegetables, if you give them a spoonful of peas and they are not in line with the whole pea thing, they're gonna spit it out. If they do not wanna eat sweet potatoes, out it goes all over the tray, in their hair, everywhere, right? So they already start to learn that they can like things and not like things. And if they don't like it, they will not want to have it. So they have their own garden. Now, the parent 1, partner 1, and child share a garden. You and your child share a garden. Your partner and the child share a garden. They have shared stories, rituals, they do activities together. There are inside jokes that the two of them know about. That you can have things with your child that are independent of what your partner has with the child. You can have special rituals and connections your partner doesn't have. Right? If your partner is a rough and tumble kind of physical love language, throwing them, wrestling them, tickling them, That might be very different from the relationship that you have with your child, and that's totally fine, right? The child can thrive with two separate environments. And once your child is old enough, they know the things they can come to you with, and they know what they can go to the other partner with. There are many times the child will say, oh, this parent will say no, so I'll ask that parent. Or if this parent says no, I'll still go to the other parent because they'll say yes, right? So they've already got this figured out. So there are those independent side gardens. Of course, you and your partner have a garden still, right? That is still the original relationship garden. And then all the gardens kind of converge in the center to be the family garden. So those are, if you think of a road trip where the three of you go, or a vacation, or dinner time, or, watching a movie, or whatever activities you do as a family, it would live in the family core, in that family center. And so when you think about parenting this way, you can understand that there are things that will be between your partner and your child, and you are not a part of that garden. So maybe they are all Harry Potter fans and you aren't really into that. So that is a special thing that they do at bedtime, and they read the books together. You do different things, right? But you're not going to go into their garden and start telling them, no, you need to read Magic Treehouse. You need to do these other things. You need to go clean the cars. No, that's their time. That's their garden space, right? They get to plant the things that they want to nurture together. And so understanding the whole relationship changes between you and your partner when now you're sharing parts of each of you with the child. And so this becomes super complex, right? Your garden of 3 is now a garden of 7, right? So it is more than doubled. So there are bound to be bumps and bruises along the way. There's bound to be trials and tribulations. There are bound to be winter storms that creep up because there's just so many more things to navigate. But on top of that, there's also your baggage that you bring to the table, and your partner's baggage they bring to the table when you talk about parenting. So I want you to look through some of the worksheets that are included below and just start asking some of these questions about your parenting strategies and what kind of parent you want to be. Because when you have that 2-day-old baby at home and you just think, this is heaven on earth, like it couldn't get better and you couldn't be happier, I love that you have that experience, and that does not last the full 18 and a half years before your child kind of is a grown and flown adult. It doesn't. You will go through many of this, and you want to stay connected to your partner through all of it, which is going to take intention because children test and push, and they are very good at what they do. So you need to be an aligned, united front. So please take a look at some of the worksheets below and start having the open conversations about what parenting looks like if that is what you are embarking on in your relationship. If you have children in your relationship, you absolutely need to have these conversations about parenting. And if you haven't added children or added extra people to your relationship, talk about it before it happens and say, you know what? This is what I'm hoping for. This is my expectation, or this is what I would love. This is my dream life. What does your dream life look like? Have the conversation, right? The more partnership and the more points of connection you can make, the deeper your bond is, and the harder the storm has to be to shake you, because now the two of you are really, your shared garden is solid. Things are planted very deeply. So any small wins are not going to shake you, are not going to unearth the things you've planted, because you've planted them deeply. And that's what you want, is that deep level of connection. So thank you for joining me. Please continue to work on the worksheets, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.